I am not the person that normally condones violence. I really don't. I'm not here for throwing hands. However, the way that Madison was coming at Michelle this episode, and apparently next week's episode, Madison is still trying to come at Michelle sideways as though Michelle is the problem. I wouldn't even be mad if Michelle just went ahead and just smacked Madison right in her mouth, just like Princess did with Amara in, what was that, Love and Hip Hop Miami? I wouldn't even be mad at it. Madison is out of control. Let's just get into this week's episode. So we return to this hot mess of a couples retreat where it's all gone down, and Alan has completely flipped out, as he should have. And now we see David kind of peeking around the corner like the coward he is. And Alan has since left the retreat, and it looks like Michelle is just standing outside Madison's door, waiting for Madison to come out and say something. I guess say something about what just went down, because David obviously won't even talk to her. And Madison has the nerve, the audacity, the unmitigated gall to address Michelle like, well, I'll talk to you only if you're not going to come at me with guns blazing. And I was like, yes, that's actually exactly what Michelle should do, Madison. She should come at you with guns blazing. Madison deserves to come out and have to deal with the consequences of her action. But of course, Michelle is very calm, cool, collected. She's gathered herself, even though she keeps saying that she's pissed. Girl, I can't see it. I can't tell. And just let me say this. Michelle is a better woman than me, because there is no way in hell, after everything that's gone down, that I would allow Madison to come at me like this, being defensive when she was the one sneaking around with Michelle's husband. Girl, have you lost your ever-loving mind? If so, I'm going to need for you to go and find it. I'm just kidding. So anyway, Madison just comes out and says, I like David, okay? And here comes David around the corner like, and I like her too. Excuse me? This is not middle school where y'all are like, I like him and he likes me. Now we go together. Stop. David should have got his tongue lashing from Michelle right then and there. But Michelle just waves him away like, I don't need you in it. I don't need you in it. Like, go away. And he just slinks away. Just slinks away. So Madison stands there and tries to explain that she and David have this connection that they're trying to explore, that they didn't mean for any of this to happen, but they deserve to explore this thing, blah, 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 blah. This is the same pile of crap, by the way, that they're going to tell everybody during this episode. And I have no idea why Michelle was just standing there, even allowing herself to be subjected to this. She should have left when Alan left, because Alan was smart. Alan was like, I'm not going to allow you to have any access to me, to lie to me, and to play in my face like I'm some kind of idiot. And I was like, Michelle should have taken notes, because I know if it were me, I would have let production know, I'm out of here. Go ahead and get me an Uber, call me a ride, get me a ride home. I'm packing my stuff right now. And do not even try to make me film any other scenes, because, baby, I'm going to tear this rental up like Michaela did on, what was that, season 14? I will tear this place up. You better hurry up and get me out of here. I don't know what Michelle expected to happen, but it just, to me, took her a bit too long to just pack up her things and just get the hell out of there. And I'm glad Mim left with her too, but it was like, what were you expecting Madison to say? What was that conversation supposed to be like? I didn't really get it. Now, what happens after this affects both David and Madison in very different ways, at least from my perspective. And this is the reason that these two wind up in such different places by the end of the show. at least just sort of emotionally wound up in different places by the end of the show. David goes downstairs and speaks to Juan, who lets David know, listen, man, I get y'all wanting to start something, but this is a horrible way to start. And just about everybody on this show is going to tell David and Madison the same thing. We get that you two can't help having feelings, but the way you two move is dead wrong. You guys are liars, you're deceitful, and you hurt other people in the process. And notice, after talking to Juan, who can't excuse David's behavior, David doesn't talk to anybody else or seek counsel from anyone else. He just goes upstairs to talk to Madison. He couldn't even face Thomas. Remember, Thomas was really had been sticking up for him. You know, Thomas was supposed to be his boy, unless maybe production cut that out. But it didn't seem like David, he just didn't want to hear anything else from anybody else. So he went upstairs to just talk to Madison. And did y'all notice how easily David walked into Madison's bedroom and sat down so comfortably on her bed? But these two claim that they're not even intimate. They're just now realizing that they like each other. And it's like, well, if you guys really didn't have that intimacy, we wouldn't see it on camera like this. So they're still trying to just, to me, play in everybody's faces. And I really wish that they would stop. Now, when Madison goes downstairs, she faces both Camille and Carla. And after she did that same spiel, like, we can't help how we feel, we just bonded, at the gym. I love how Carla wasn't buying any of it. Carla's not going to just let you sit in her face and feed her no bull crap. So I'm glad she spoke first. Carla was like, the difference between you, Madison, and Michelle was that when Michelle was struggling in her marriage, Michelle opened up and confided to us in the girl group and let us know her struggles in her marriage and that she was upset about the text message. However, you, Madison, kept things behind closed doors and didn't let people know what was going on. And you just let Michelle spiral over this text message. And you let the whole thing play out and you didn't say anything. And Carla's like, I just think that is just unthinkable to cross over into somebody else's marriage. Like, regardless of whatever it is that may be going on with you in your relationship, you did the unthinkable. And for that, I don't know if she said the words, I can't really forgive you, but that was just my interpretation of the conversation. Carla was just kind of like, the trust has been broken. Like, you are someone who doesn't have integrity, to me anymore. And I feel like Carla just doesn't look at Madison the same. And I'm glad she was honest about that. And then Camille says that text we all know that David sent to you, that text wasn't just we're just starting to maybe like each other kind of text. That text was a type of text you send after a succession of other texts, which signifies there was clearly more going on between the two of you. And of course, Camille was right. So basically, Madison, you're a liar and a deceiver. And Carla let her know, listen, I don't even know, like I said before, I don't even know if I can trust you moving forward as a friend. Now, because, again, the trust has been broken. You're not a trustworthy person. And I could tell that Carla's words really affected Madison, and it was deserved. So when Madison really couldn't convince any of the girls to side with her or encourage her to pursue things with David, I think it really bothered her in a way that maybe she just wasn't expecting, coupled with the fact that MM had left with Michelle, signifying that MM was on Michelle's side as well, and with Alan not returning any of Madison's calls, refusing to even so much as speak to her, I could tell Madison felt defeated, and honestly, she deserved to be ostracized. Now, in stark contrast to Madison getting an earful of the kind of criticism she deserved, David, on the other hand, has left the retreat and the guys knowing they are not going to back him up and gone to sit down with one of his friends outside of this process so he can spin things the way he wants to spin them and not feel bad about himself. David tells his friend how he's fallen for another one of the wives. Doesn't say boo about Michelle the entire conversation. He goes on and on about Madison he's just smiling from ear to ear, talking about how he's feeling good, like everything is good, man. Things are going well, like I'm happy now. I've got a new girl now. And I honestly think the friend has been kept in the loop this entire time and is only pretending to hear about David's feelings for Madison for the first time. I think he's just pretending for the cameras, commenting on how David is practically glowing. Oh, David, you do seem happy now. Oh, this is so much better. And the fact that David can't stop smiling had me feeling like, what reality TV show did we just switch over to? I'm sorry. Are we still watching Married at First Sight season 18? This is like the Twilight Zone. What planet is David on right now? Because the conversation should have went, man, I messed up. I really messed up and I need some advice on how to make things right. I don't think any of the other couples even respect me anymore. What should I do? How do I make things right? But instead, David is all smiles and feeling like he hasn't done a thing wrong. And his friendship with Alan? Guess that doesn't even matter. Who cares about Madison's actual husband, right? David is a real piece of work. Meanwhile, Madison is returning home to her apartment with the burned up wedding pictures, crying on the phone to her friend. And I really think that this discord, this disconnect between Madison and David shows when they meet up with the experts, because David could give a flying flip about Michelle. She is so in his rear view, he's not even mentioning her, or Alan, really. But before we get into the last scene with Madison and David and the experts, let's get into this meeting with MM and Ikechi and the experts. Best maths ending of a marriage ever. MM was like,
I think it's bull.
That's what's up.
Okay. I think it is a burning bag of dog. I'm sick of it. I don't even want to hear it no more. You should be ashamed of yourself, really. Really.
So Ikechi comes with his usual BS. He's unhappy in the marriage. It's an unhealthy marriage. He wants to walk out, blah, blah, blah. And Dr. Pepper asks him, well, why did you come with that piece of paper? Why did you come with that piece of paper in front of everyone trying to ask for that divorce? And then Mim just goes off and interrupts before he can even answer. She's like, he did that to embarrass me. And she just proceeds to just light into him. And I was so here for it. And then when Mim pulled out that letter and started reading it.
Definitely love a divorce. I wanted to write a letter on the ending of this, and I titled it Letter to My Departed. I committed to this process and was prepared to see this through. However, you've been unstable this entire marriage. Your perception is your reality. However, your reality is not based in fact. You are embarrassing. I would wish you well, but I'm God's favorite. And my well wishes won't be what gets you any further than where you are in your life. I wish you nothing but the worst.
It's like, I was over the moon. I loved every minute of it. Every minute of it. That was the best part of the season. Bravo, MM. Bravo. So finally, we get to the moment we've all been waiting for. Madison and David are made to face the experts, and was I disappointed in how the experts handled them? Yes, I was. Do I think the experts could have done more? Yes, I do. And I was pissed Dr. Pia was trying to pipe up and lay into David and Madison. But was it just me, or did Pastor Cal just silence her? I didn't like that at all. I waited all week for Dr. Pia to speak, but it felt like she just got shut down. But I don't know. What do you all think? That was just my interpretation. Anyway, Pastor Cal's point of view is you two were just so miserable in your marriage. You were probably just rebounding. And Madison tries to argue against that. But y'all, when Pastor Cal went back and talked about how David wasn't even close to what Madison originally asked for, that she probably wouldn't even look at David if he passed her on the street, had it not been for this show, because Madison specifically told them she only wanted to marry a white man. I was like, oh, I was done. Pastor Cal was like, this man is in no way your type or the type of man that you said you wanted to marry. And I was thinking to myself, well, yeah, he may not be the type she wanted to marry, but he's certainly the type that Madison wants to. Woo! Baby, this episode was something else. And the previews gave a sneak peek into next week's episode when Madison is still going to be talking crap to Michelle. Oh, hell no. I was like, this is crazy. She's really puffing out her chest towards Michelle like she want to throw hands. I was like, oh, is this what we about to do? This is crazy. You guys go ahead and drop down in the comments and let me know what you all thought about this episode. And thank you so much for tuning in, guys. And I will see you all later this week. When they look in my eyes, all they see is pain, but I don't care. Deep in my heart, all the feeling is pain, but I don't care. 'Cause I am a winner. I'm telling myself, I know I can make it. Believe